Lakers are going to hang on to this, but it's frustrating being a basketball fan in the state of Minnesota, being a basketball fan in the state of hockey. It's difficult. It's a challenge, and it'll probably always will be. But what do you do? And in fact, there you have it. The Golden Gophers lose tonight to the Purdue Boilermakers by the final score of 68-64. So hey, look at that though. We got some quality actual, that was some fairly decent college basketball talk that we had here on the show, and that's been rare so far into the college basketball season, so kudos to myself for that. And also, by the way, I want to give a shout out to my favorite college basketball team here in the state of Minnesota, and that would be the University of Macalester. Go Macalester, young men's. Do they call college basketball still boys basketball, or do they call it men's basketball? I don't know. It's a good question. Somebody get back to me on that. But yes, go Macalester. Now, since we are in the world of college sports and we're done with balls on dribble, let's swing our way on over to balls on ice, talk some hockey, and we will start with the Frozen Four college hockey tournament here going on this weekend in the great state of Minnesota. All right, now hold the phone, Scotty Ball and Balls Deep Army. You're going to have to forgive me. I did misspeak here just recently. It is not the Final Four, the Frozen Four, tournament that will be held this weekend in college hockey. No, it is the North Star Cup being held here in Minnesota. I misspoke. The Frozen Face-Off will be here, held at the Target Center, which is, I believe, the quarterfinals and semifinals of the final Division I College Hockey National Tournament. That will be in March, and then the winners of that round will go on to the Frozen Four, which is the final four of the college hockey season, and that will be at the end of March, I believe, or the beginning of April, and that is in Tampa Bay, Florida, actually. I am pretty darn sure this year. But yes, so it is the North Star Cup. I misspoke. Please forgive me. That is being held here in Minnesota this week. It will include 4 Minnesota colleges, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the Minnesota State University hockey team, the Bemidji State Beavers, and the third-ranked in the country St. Cloud State Huskies. My St. Cloud State Huskies. I actually going to fill you in on a little known fact about me. Well, depending on who you are, I guess it depends on how little or largely it is known, but I in fact reside in the greater St. Cloud area. That's right, boys and girls. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. I do call the St. Cloud area home, and I love taking in any college hockey game whenever I get the chance. Any live hockey is great. College hockey is arguably my favorite personally. But in the first round games of the North Star Cup on Saturday, it will have top-seeded St. Cloud State versus low-seeded Minnesota State. And then on the other side, of course, will then feature process of elimination would be Minnesota Gophers versus Bemidji of State. The winners of those two games will face each other in the championship of that tournament on Sunday, and the losers will face each other in the consolation bracket game on Sunday. So any of my fellow Minnesotans going to take in the hockey tournament this weekend, man, I am envious. I wish I was going with you. Have a blast, but still be just the right amount of safe and responsible to not get into any trouble that will follow you around past that 24-hour segment of your life. Now, as far as professional hockey goes, like I mentioned, there are a few games being played in the NHL tonight. However, the Minnesota Wild, as well as several other teams in the NHL, are already off for the NHL All-Star break and the NHL All-Star game. That will be going down this weekend. Pretty sure it's on Sunday during the day, so we will have the NHL All-Star game during the day, and then the NFL Pro Bowl, or All-Star, their version of the All-Star game, on Sunday night. Now, you know what? Let me check quick and make sure that just for some insane reason, it's not on Saturday. Yes, the NHL All-Star Weekend takes place over the course of Saturday and Sunday, and of course is highlighted by the actual All-Star Game on Sunday. So hockey fans will have that to watch Sunday. Like I said, could take in 2 All-Star games this coming Sunday. All-Star games are All-Star games, but it's kind of cool to see all that many big names at least all on the field at the same time, or the ice in this case, depending on which game you're watching. But in the meantime, the state of hockey is very, very low. we are at a code brown. We are getting very close to crapping ourselves, crapping the bed, crapping our pants, freaking out. Everything's falling apart. Our offense has become completely non-existent. The Wild can't score a goal. You can't rely on them to score a goal on any given night. Our power play offense is, again, non-existent. I want to say currently we're something like 1 for our last 72 on power play opportunities, or 2 of our last 73, or somewhere, give or take 1 here and there, but that's unacceptable. Wow, that's unacceptable. Now, where the Wild have been good at over their big-time slump here that they've been in recently, they are currently, I don't even know if they're still in the A seed. They're either the 8th seed or just out of the A seed in the playoff race. For the vast majority of the season up until this point, the Wild were in between that 4 to 6 range in the Western playoff race. But as I mentioned, they have just been on a horrible downward spiral the entire month of January. This month of January here, 2016, has just the Wild have not been able to find success at all. Can't score, the primary problem. If you were listening to me in October and November and December, I was telling you, don't get too excited about the Wild, don't get too concerned about the Wild. The main factors are health, and let's just focus on getting healthy and staying healthy, and shouldn't be a whole lot of worries when that's arrived at. Now, that being said, we are at the moment, and have been for the most part in this month of January, relatively healthy. A pro hockey team is never going to be 100% healthy throughout the course of a season. That's just not the nature of a game. It's very similar to the NFL that way. Once you start playing the games, there's going to be injuries for all sides. But for the most part, as a team, the Wild are fairly healthy. And that, I think, is one of the biggest concerns, for me at least, in regards to the struggles this month and the lack of production and success, and lack of just playing good hockey, and the lack of wins, ultimately. Now, it's not been all bad. Defensively, the team has gotten significantly improved overall. Our goalie play, both from Dubnyk and backup goalie Kemper, have continued to be extremely good from night to night. The defensemen and the overall 5-on-5 team defense, as well as the penalty kill especially, have been really good. But we give up 1 or 2 goals, and we still end up losing all these games because we just can't score. And when you're a hockey team and you're giving up, 2 goals, 1 goal, 1 goal, you got to be winning more than 50% of those games. And this entire month, we have not. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's been really, really bad, really painful. Now, the 2 most sensible courses of action, to right this ship or well, three technically. One, the blind optimistic way of approaching it would be, let's rest and regroup here over the All-Star break, and then let's come out focused and energized and playing our best hockey and ready to go, and hope that just magically fixes whatever's been wrong. There are going to be people that suggest that route. I'm not one of those people. Now, to me, the second route, which is my preferred route, I think the best route to go for this team in this specific season, is the trade route. Find a way to shake up your roster, the personnel there, and send a message through the locker room that way, because this team is believed to be very talented and very deep, but they are not playing that way on the ice at all, across the board for the most part. There's an exception here and an exception there, Parise, Dubnyk, whatever. But I personally think that there are too many guys on this team that, are paid a lot of money and regarded as being talented and, capable of producing, large amounts of, well, I shouldn't say large amounts, but, producing on a regular, consistent basis, meeting their expectations on a game-to-game basis. And it's just not happening. And someone has to be held accountable. Like I said, I think the first place you start, the easiest place you start, is you make a trade or two. Get a couple of these guys out of here, bring a couple new guys in. But in these trades, you got to be trading guys that are on the team now. You can't be trading prospects that you're looking to at some point in the future. I'm talking about trading away a couple of the players, whether it be a Granlund, it would be one of the first names I would throw, into the nominating hat, Pominville. If you could get anybody interested in taking him this year, he's been so bad. But you got to take some of the guys on the team that aren't performing now, even a Dumba possibly, and go get players who can come in and play and contribute now. Veteran players who aren't old and washed up, but they're not young developmental projects either. And like I said, vice versa. Then you're not looking to get rid of any of your young prospects and any of your minor league teams or anything like that. That would be the first area of action that I would recommend. From there, then, if that doesn't work, I would go to option 3, or some other people are ready to go to option 3 right now. Option 3 is our annual Coach Yo's Gotta Go campaign. That every year since he's been a coach here, at some point in the season, it feels like there's the Mike Yo's Gotta Go campaign movement, whatever you want to call it, that arises here in Minnesota. And it's hard because for me personally, I like Coach Yo as a person. Like dude seems really likable and cool as a human being. Like a little similar to the way that people root for Teddy Bridgewater and maybe kind of overlook or disregard a lot of his shortcomings, we'll say, when it comes to doing his actual job, because he's so likable as a person. So they're willing to overlook that sort of stuff. It's a little similar, I think, here with Mike Yeo. He's super likable. I mean, he's Canadian after all, eh? Gotta know that them Canadians are known for their manners, eh? But I do hold to, I subscribe to the belief that when it's a team-wide struggle, a team-wide epidemic, to put out a good product on a regular basis, that someone's accountable for the group as a whole, and that would be, coaching, and then front office, things like that as well, or in addition to, but when it's the whole team struggling, that falls on the coaching. when the whole team is underperforming. The coaching has to be held accountable.